So today in the shop, got a Honda 300EX, 97 or so. It's the older style with the square mounted headlight up top. Does run, but it needs a new carburetor. Picked up a new carburetor. We're going to slap that on. We're going to go from there. Okay, just got the new carburetor on. Not very hard. Honda's is pretty simple. Just release the clamp that's back here for the rubber boot. Take off these two screws here. You'll disconnect your throttle cable here and just twist it out. You can do it all with everything on. Makes it a little harder, but at least you don't have to remove all the plastics to get it done. Have to address the rear shock. It is no good. Might be good for somebody that's smaller, but for somebody my size, it's got to be beefed up a little bit. Gotta go through and figure out what I can do with the wide array of parts that I have laying around and go from there. So to continue on with the 300EX, went through and finished hooking up the rest of the carburetor, bought a new battery, and put that in, it's charged, oiled the chain, the rear shock that I was talking about, the ones that I had weren't working properly. I went through and put this one in here. It was off of a parts machine. Not quite proud of it because you can tell it's not correct down here, but it'll be fine for testing purposes. Gonna have to order a new shock. And anybody that's ordered shocks for these types of machines knows that they are not cheap. To get a decent one, they're not cheap. To give her a start, I turn the key on, I hit start. She starts right up with the new carburetor. She idles good. I have to adjust the idle up a little bit. The idle's a little too low. But everything seems to be working out. Got to get a new headlight bulb. We got high beam, but no low beam. Went through, put a small little tail light on it. Went through last night. Put a seat cover on. It's not perfect, but it'll work. And I had to go through and do some plastic welding on these fenders. You see here, there was a big hole here, so I filled it in with some plastic. You see all the cracks, the breaks. There were a bunch of them, so these plastics are really floppy. There's supposed to be a brace here. Gonna have to order it. Gotta order the new cushions, the new rubbers for the cushions, and I have the seat latch on the way. But for right now, it'll do. To go through and restitch these up. Maybe I'll plastic weld those too, not sure yet. And over here, we have the airbox cover. The previous owner went through and drilled a bunch of holes in it to get more air. These machines come pretty good from the factory. You don't need to do this. I think for me, it creates more issues if you're ever running through the water or anything. You get more water in where the air filter is, more mud, more dirt. So I'm going to go through, do a little bit of plastic welding, weld some wire in. This is just it's a screen, a metal screen. It's like a wood burner with a flat tip, so you can melt the metal into it. I do have some plastic welding rods here. So for this, it'll match, whereas for the plastics, it didn't. I'll have to order some different colors for different machines. So, all in all, let's get this cover done and be able to take her on a test ride today, hopefully. Alright, so went through, filled in the holes. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. Could sand it down, clean it up, make it look really nice. It's going to be under the seat. Nobody's going to see it. You can see it got good penetration here to get down to the mesh. So we're going to stick this on and call it a day on this. Alright, so with that done, very minimal things that we have left to do. Yeah, not sure if I'm going to go through and weld this up or just re-stitch it. You can see where the stitches started breaking right on through here. So, but I'd be able to put it back together here if I wanted to. I'd at least be able to take it for a ride today. Alright, so we're going to do a quick test ride of the 300EX. So, let's start her up and give her a rip. You can hear the chain slapping. Definitely going to need a new chain. We got to adjust the valves. But all in all, she's a mover. There she goes. So we're back in the shop after our test ride. You can see the chain's got quite a bit of slap in it. We go through, adjust the chain, and then we'll check out the valves to see what they're at. So on the 300EX, you've got two Allens. Allen head bolts back here to loosen up, and then right here is how you tighten your chain. So all you're going to do is you're going to loosen these up so you can get some spinach on this piece here. There's a sticker here. You can't really read it anymore. It's been worn off. But it says that there should be no more than an 1 5/8 inch play in the chain. So right now we're looking at quite a bit. These are pretty loose themselves. Might have to lube it up. See what she does. Alright, now that I found my handy dandy oil can here, full of PB Blaster. Shoot some in here. Lube this up. Worst case, I got a big old crescent wrench that I can stick on here and try and spin her with. Got a nice little hammer here. Give her a couple taps. Yeah, she doesn't want to move. She moved a little bit, but not very much. This is going to be terrible. Let's see, she'll go forward. Jesus. Well, she'll want to go forward or backwards. See if we can get this to spin just a little bit more. There we go. There we go. That's a lot better. Definitely gonna need some axle bearings. See, there's a little bit of play in there. Have to look that up. Tighten her down and see how she looks. Okay, that's good enough. Could go a little tighter in the chain. But I think once I knock down that skid plate, everything will clear just fine. Nice, so now I'm just going to readjust the rear parking brake, make it work a little better. Which for this one, it's aftermarket. Cheap eBay special. That's a lot better. Got the stop nut here, put the bolt, put it in or out to adjust the parking brake here. So now that I got it nice and accurate, it's good. Now again, anybody that sees this rear shock here, the way it's mounted, it's not the correct shock. We will be fixing that in a future video. But as for right now, she'll be fine. All right, so now that the chain is tightened, the parking brake is adjusted, I come up and check out the valve clearance. I'm gonna check it out. We're gonna pop this cover off, see if she's loose. Gonna have to remove the spark plug to make sure she's at top dead center on the compression stroke. Make sure that there's no pressure on the valves. And we can see if at least the front one is loose. To get to the intake, what I'm working on now is for the exhaust. To get to the intake, I have to remove the tank. It's a little bit more of a pain in the butt. But if it's just one that's loose, we'll adjust it and see what she does. So we've got 2 bolts to remove. They're both 10mm. Nice and easy. And we should pop this cap off. There we go. And the O-ring is good. Let's see here. All right, so they're both loose. Pop the spark plug out. It's an 18mm. All right, so taking the spark plug out, you can see, if we can focus, that it's not in terrible shape. It's got a little bit of a blackness to it. She has burned a little bit of oil. But as for right now, the spark plug looks in good shape. Let's see if we can get this girl to top dead center easily. She was almost there. If you look on this side over here, see there's an Allen here so you can spin the motor over. Probably the safest way to go, so you know that you're at top dead center. You're not guessing. It looks to be a 10mm. Let's hope it comes out easy. There she goes. Pull it out. We'll check this O-ring. Yeah, the O-ring's not terrible. Could use a new one. But it was holding the oil in, so I'm not too worried about it. see what size this bolt is. There's an 18 as well. There's another sight hole here. See if we can remove it. Try and make our life a little easier. All right, so this one seems to be a 6mm. See if this one will pop too. There she goes. Not too bad. Definitely tell it's been a while since it's been out. The gasket, the O-ring is stuck on there. So you can pop her off with a screwdriver. There we go. So this O-ring is in good shape. It's a little smushed, but could be original. Most likely is. And in there should be a timing mark in the bottom of the hole. Let me spin this over. It's another mark inside for top dead center. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, we just passed it. Come back just to here. All right, so you've got two lines. One is for top, one is for fire. So the way I was taught, to make sure something was at top dead center, was to set a screwdriver or an Allen, something in there, so you can see if it goes any further. All right, so right there's going to be top dead center. The top of our piston is there. Let's see what kind of play we got. Seems to be quite a bit of play in there. Have to do some research and see what the play is supposed to be for the valves. All right, so upon my research, the exhaust valve should have 0.005 clearance, and the intake should have 0.004. I believe these are a little bit more than what they're supposed to have. We'll go through and adjust them, see what the valve is at, and I'll check back with you. Okay, so after dissecting the front end, taking all the front plastics off, removing the gas tank, just so I could get to the intake valves. The valves here are beautiful. They're within spec at 0.004. The exhaust here, I've adjusted. They were at 0.008. Now they're at the correct 0.005. So hopefully that gets rid of our tappage in the top end. When you do this kind of thing, want yourself a good set of feeler gauges. And right on them, they'll say, like this one here is a 0.007 or a 0.178 millimeters. So you can go through, figure out which side you need. Make sure you have a good set. When you're doing these, after you loosen this nut here, and just turn the top with, I used a pair of needle nose vice grips because I felt that was a little bit more solid. You can also use an adjustable, small adjustable. You want to make sure that you tighten down these nuts really well. You don't want one of these coming off and flying around and flopping around the head, because you will cause some internal damage and it will not be fun. It'll be expensive. All right, so I was thinking as I was putting everything back together, I should probably test fire this. There should be enough gas in the carburetor. This way I'll be able to tell if I'm getting tappage from my valves here. So we're gonna give her a start and see what she does. So just a quick recap on the Honda 300EX. Went through and changed the carburetor, changed out the rear shock, again for temporary until we get a new one. Tightened the chain, adjusted the rear brake, went through and adjusted the valves as well. And some, sketchy plastic welding that holds for now. All in all, it's a fun little project. Nothing too crazy. Not too much money into her. Do plan on buying new plastics. Maybe the right seat cover. But for now, the green works. I'm gonna go out, get new tires. These are a little dry rotted. But other than that, we're going to have fun. If you like this kind of content, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We like doing what we're doing, and if you like seeing it, let us know. Thanks for watching.